everybody. Welcome back to Shaq's Corner for another edition of The Last Raiders and for the first episode of the series, Honor and Dean Ashe. For episode 1, I thought it was a good idea to have a special guest, so I hope you guys enjoy. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if there's anybody from the Rice community who would like to participate in this, please feel free to reach out. But it's been about 10 years. But to get started, introduce yourself, obviously.
All right. So I'm Aaron Ashe. Um, I am a graduate of Rice High School. I was a valedictorian in the class of 2000. And then after going to college, Howard University, I came back to New York and decided to teach at Rice for 4 years up until it closed. And I had the pleasure and honor of being able to teach with my pops, who was at that point, by the time I started teaching, who was the dean of students. But before that, he had taught English for a bunch of years while I was in college.
Absolutely. And what was the what were the challenges of working with your father?
Honestly, and this is not to sound, not just because he passed and not to sound like it's some perfect situation, but I didn't really have any challenges, working with my pops. It was all support. And I think just because by the time he started working at Rice, he already had a full career as a police officer. And he had accomplished many things, right? He was a poet, published poet. He had raised 4 children, 4 sons, we grew up in the projects, but he helped contribute to get us all to college and beyond. And so by that point, while I was teaching at Rice, it was all support and it was all love. You know what I mean? Like at that point, and that's all I felt from him. And I guess some of what like y'all experienced, the toughness, the like he's being hard on y'all. From my vantage point, I knew it was all love still. It's like he saw something in you that maybe you didn't see in yourself yet, But as a teacher, as a grown up, like all I got from him was how proud he was, We would leave Rice and he would introduce me to everybody and their moms and talk about how proud he was of me and all the things that I accomplished on my own. And so no challenges really. I mean, he was, I guess, because of everything that he accomplished. By the time he got to Rice, he was like, I don't need this job. He wasn't doing it for money. He had a full pension. And so what that meant was in faculty meetings and stuff, if he disagreed with a principal or a teacher or whatever, he was very vocal about it. And he was unapologetic about advocating for students and what was best for students. And so sometimes we would leave and he would feel like he would apologize to me. Like, I'm sorry if I embarrassed you or if I made, but for me, it was all love. It was like, that's what I aspire to be able to be so open and honest for what's right. You know what I mean? So he thought that was a challenge, that like I had to sit and work with a dad who would like literally scream at people sometimes in meetings on behalf of the students if they was doing the wrong thing. You know what I mean? But it wasn't a challenge for me at all. Like I was proud of it. It made me feel good, and like it gave me an example of something I could be and something I could look up to.
Well, definitely, and I can say you definitely didn't speak as much as him, but it's
Yeah,
still you still had that effect on us as well. It was
appreciate it.
no, definitely. I spoke with Dr. Rob about it. I spoke with Chino about it, and it's always the faculty members. There's some who, they have to say a lot because
Mhm.
it's impactful what they're saying to you. But there's some who don't have to say a lot because the actions speak much louder than the words.
Yeah.
And the combination of having you both there, honestly, speaking for myself personally, was it did volumes because I got to see both sides. I got to see the very vocal version of the Ashes, and then I also got to see
Yeah.
the very action oriented. And there was times when you would just say something very simple to me, and like I would catch it like that, and it was like, yo, he didn't even have to say a lot, And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people felt that way. So that dynamic duo of you and your pops was definitely needed. So I know he wasn't working at Rice when you were going there. Obviously,
Yeah.
what drew your father to Rice?
Um, I would say the first thing was, so when I was a senior at Rice, a
Mm,
graduating senior, um, my dad was always, he was always very involved in the school community in a sense. Like he always, every parent teacher meeting, he was there, every award ceremony, he was there. Um, and unfortunately, that was like a little rare in that community. You know, there wasn't a lot of dads showing up. And so the principal at the time, Mr. Gober, recognized it, um, and created a brand new award just for my dad. It was called Father of the Year, and we had a whole ceremony in the cafeteria at Rice to honor him with this Father of the Year award. Um, for what he contributed to the community just as a parent, you know? And I think that put him on Mr. Gober's radar. Then once I graduated, the year after, my the brother right under me was graduating, and he let my dad know, like, yeah, there's an English teacher spot opening, um, and my dad had just retired from the New York State Police,
mm.
and so my little brother just connected the dots. I think he gave Mr. Gober my pop's phone number, and he reached out, and it just seemed like a perfect fit. You know, like here's this man who on his own contributed to raising four boys in New York City, the same type of environment. You know, it's like he gets it. He gets it. And so Mr. Gober embraced him, hired him as an English teacher. And then I think very quickly he realized the leadership potential in my pops, you know. Um, at every school I've ever taught at, there's always like an official leader, you know, the principal, the person who gets paid to lead the school, and then there's unofficial leaders, even when I was a student there, you know, and I think very quickly it was realized like he got a larger impact than just being in the English classroom, you know. And so they gave him that promotion to dean to kind of help influence all other teachers and help build the culture at Rice High School during that period.
Definitely, it. I'm pretty sure it didn't take that long for him to get there, neither.
It was real quick.
It's just so surreal to me, man. Um, a lot of the fondest moments I have at Rice was uh, any interaction I had with your father, and whether it was him yelling at us for something or it was just him cracking jokes, because a lot of people thought he was serious all the time, but he used to crack jokes too.
Yeah,
He used to love to laugh with us, and it was a lot of the feedback that I get from a lot of people that went to Rice with us before or after that, had any interaction with Mr. Ashe, was, if you didn't have a male figure in your life, like that, what you envision your father being like, and he provided that for so many kids, and I saw so many brothers turn their lives around just from the impact of dealing with him. We're in school, what, 9, 10 months out the year. So it's like you see that face Monday through Friday. And eventually some of the coldest people you saw open up and warm up. And that's not the building itself, but the people. And your father was definitely one of those people that did that for us. And I know getting closer towards when Rice was closing, obviously my senior year, 2011, you could see the toll it took on him. Just knowing that no matter every effort that he put in, we put in, that it wasn't going to be anything that we can do, unfortunately,
yeah,
to keep the school open. And it even got to a point where he had to take some days off. And I've never seen him take days off. So like
yeah,
that was scary to me. I didn't
yeah,
like that week where he was gone. I was just like, all right, the building
yeah.
gonna burn down. I didn't know what was happening.
Nah, it absolutely did take a toll. And you gotta understand, like, he some of y'all saw him as a father figure, and on his end, that's how he viewed it as well. Conversations with him outside of school is like he raised his kids. He knew in a sense of formula, you know what I'm saying? It's not that simple, but he viewed y'all as extensions of his family, as his kids. You know, when some of y'all was in trouble, he would worry about it. It wasn't just like I'm turning this on because I'm at work. You know, he didn't have to work. He loved Rice, and it hurt a lot when Rice closed because of kind of how he viewed his role there. You know what I mean? He was a leader for y'all. He saw potential in y'all and was trying to guide you to be your best selves. Um, and then just kind of, I guess, understanding the circumstances of the closing and the fact that like it's a building full of extremely gifted, talented, bright young men and some very dedicated, capable teachers. You know, a school that was working. It was working for the people that were there. And so for it to close and then them to like blame it on financial stuff, you know, it really hurt, especially since the community did respond.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, good. Um, yeah, so it just hurt a lot, you know. They used the excuse that it was financials, that we was in the red, that we couldn't sustain the building anymore. And then the community responded and there was people willing to donate and fill the gap. And somehow that ended up not being enough, you know. So that hurt him a lot because he wasn't a complaining type of person. He was very about action. And if there's something happening, then let's fix it. Let's figure it out. You know, and that was something that just like with all the power, all the bright minds in the community, we couldn't figure it out. You know,
Yeah,
it was out about power.
yeah. Sometimes, uh, uh, and I think Dr. Rob explained it to me. When certain people are brought in, they brought in to just do one thing, and
Uh-huh.
when that person does that, when that's their one mission, it doesn't matter what type of outcry from the community, what type of action you take, and it's
Yeah,
unfortunate because it makes you feel powerless
yeah,
when you sat there and you build all of this equity in the community, you build all this equity with your staff, and you feel powerful. And just to
yeah,
kind of have that taken from you, I could definitely understand that. It's like I
yeah.
said, that those last days was really surreal for me because I'm a kid who essentially grew up in Rice. You know, my brother
Yeah,
went there as well. My brother graduated with you in 2000, so it was like
yeah,
all the faculty members that you guys knew from back then. Like I knew Miss Barringer, Deacon Brown, Mr. Shea, Brother Sherlock, all of them, Mr. Goldberg, Brother Walderman. Like I met all of these people as a little kid, and then to
yeah,
interact with them as I got older, and now to understand that. I mean, I don't live in New York anymore at this point, but like my kids at this point won't have that interaction with that faculty.
yeah,
And I know I do my job as a father, and I know my wife does her job as a mother, but it's always that extended family that does that extra molding for the kids. And as much as people love to say parents do everything, it's not always the parents. It's the secondary people, the teachers, the principals, those influences as well. Because as kids get older, they spend more time at school than they do at home.
yeah.
So and
Yeah, Rice was
it's
a special place, man. Absolutely. You know, it was a place where the majority of the adults in the building understood the assignment, you know, and it was more than an assignment. It was family, it was love. Like I genuinely care about y'all and I want y'all to thrive, you know, and I've taught at multiple schools with plenty of great teachers after that. And it's just not the same, the culture, the feel of it, you know what I mean? And at least
absolutely,
for me, starting I was still a young buck, fresh out of college. I wasn't even that many years older than y'all, you know. So it really was like y'all felt like little brothers, you know what I mean? That I'm just guiding towards kind of achieving your academic responsibilities. And then I had my pops there who saw y'all as kids, his children, you know, just trying to keep y'all safe and guide you towards your best selves, you know. Definitely a special place. And not just me and my pops, all of the teachers you name, Mr. Shea, Brother Sherlock, Miss Brown, you know, all of them were very instrumental to my own success and helping me to understand my own potential, you know, and not every school does that. I think about the other schools that were choices for me before attending Rice High School and where some of my brothers went. My younger brother went to Brooklyn Tech. My older brother, one of them went to Stuyvesant. And these are huge schools where it's like you go to parent teacher meetings and they're literally a number. The teachers don't even know their names. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? And that's not how Rice was. Like your parents step into the building, everybody already knows them, they know everybody, and it's this very close knit. It's an extension of your family, your home life, you know. Um, and sometimes it takes that community to build to help grow amazing individuals, you know. So it's sad and unfortunate it's not there, you know.
yeah.
But
I
you
mean,
do.
it sounds like the alumni association is working on something. I'm not sure. I'm not too privy to everything they're doing, but they're definitely taking strides and they're putting in a lot of effort. So
Yeah,
I'm thankful for that because the community needs it doesn't have to be a Rice. It just the community needs that family back. I think
yeah,
everybody scattered and went their separate ways for a little while, but just like any family, they got to come back together at some point.
mm,
And I think that'll happen in the hopefully in the very near future because as time progresses, we see what the de-evolution of community is now. There's always some type of killing happening, some type of death happening. It's a lot of young people, and especially in the communities where we come from, close to where Rice was, that are losing their lives, unfortunately. And I'm not saying that every life could be saved because that's not realistic, but I think a lot can be. A lot of people's trajectory can be changed by being involved in that type of family, that type of situation.
yeah,
Because I've seen it happen firsthand. I've seen it happen.
yeah,
A lot of my friends, you know, speaking realistically, they didn't think they had a bright future.
yeah,
6 months in Rice, they talking about college, where they want to go, what type of career they wanted to pursue. Not just wanting to be an athlete or a rapper or wanting to be a gangster. So
yeah. But
it's,
I
it's
think that's something that's all of our responsibility now, to build that in our own communities, wherever we work, wherever we live. Take what you learn from my pops and Dr. Rob. These are men, great men who didn't have to work, but cared about their community enough to come put in that work and get to know y'all and give you their all, and guide you. And now you in a position, I'm in a position where I could do the same thing, build the same thing. It's never going to be Rice again. It might be difficult to build the whole community full of people like that, but you could do every little piece you can on your end. You know what I'm saying? Take care of those people, not because you're getting paid to do it, but just because you care. You know what I mean? And that's what I try to do still in my career is like my own little my own little version of Rice, whatever school I go to, as best as I can.
no, definitely that's what I'm working on now in this
Yeah,
new environment that I'm in because we moved to Florida, and I'm trying to build a program right now, or not trying. I am building a program right now. It's called Building Block Hoops. I'm working on it. It's basically training kids in basketball, teaching them the basics, the fundamentals. But I also want to provide a safe space. We know a lot of kids have a lot of trauma and they can't talk about it. And
yeah,
what better place to kind of alleviate some of that pressure and that stress than you go on to play a sport that you love and you can kind of have that time to talk about it. And I think a lot of things can be helped with kids these days if we address the traumas that they face because a lot of them have unresolved traumatic issues and it
yeah,
that was part of the thing at Rice. I know, speaking with Dr. Rob, speaking with your father, speaking with you, Mr. Vera, Mr. Shea, Brother Sherlock, they all say students come to us and tell us about these traumatic events and we help guide them through it.
yeah,
We talk them through it, and they may not always make the right decision, but at least they're able to get that pressure off of them, get that weight off their shoulders. And I, that's just what I know, and that's just what I love working with kids. They're the future, and it's not saying that I can't help an adult. I'm not saying that, but at the same time, kids don't ask to be here, and they come by the dozen a lot of times. So
yeah.
somebody has to be there to kind of shepherd the kids a little bit. And, if I can do that in my community, if I can save one kid a day, I'm thankful.
That's what's up, man. That sounds dope. Keep going. Keep doing it.
You guys laid the foundation down for me, and I just, you guys passed the ball, and I'm gonna just pick it up and keep going with it. Hearing that, you still working the same way, still diligently, wherever you go.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're at a school now where you got probably 15, 20 kids looking at you as the cool teacher, but you still dropping jewels on them and teaching them how to be men, how to be
Yeah.
respectful, how to be responsible, how to navigate through society today, especially today. Everything is murky right now.
Yeah. What's funny is like things that I'm praised for as a teacher was so natural to pretty much it seemed natural to all the teachers at Rice. Like I get asked every year, how you do it? What's your approach? And it's something I can't really articulate. And I've got numerous like teacher of the year awards and all that stuff. And in my mind is like, I'm just doing what my pops did for me, what Mr. Shea did for me, what Brother Shirt. I'm doing my best imitation of them in a sense, and
Yeah,
it just works out well. It's literally getting to know the students and genuinely caring. And then with that foundation, everything else is straight. You know what I mean? If I genuinely care about you, all that social, emotional help that you need is going to come naturally, right? I'm not going to leave my own son struggling. And so I'm the same with my students. Like if I know you're going through it, I can sense it because I got a relationship with you. Then let's build and let's figure out what you need and let's see how I could best help you. You know what I mean? Um,
it's crazy. And like you said, you get praised for things that come natural, and it's like stuff like that. Most teachers should do anyway,
yeah,
and it's scary that they don't. It
yeah,
seems like the teachers who have the hardest times are the ones who don't build those relationships with their students. They just want to get through the day and pass them along, whatever the case may be, whatever the reason they're there to be. They're there for work.
yeah,
But when you come across individuals like yourself and everybody else in the rights community, we had a whole bunch of teachers of the year, and
yeah,
it's sad. It's just being human, just being showing compassion.
yeah.
If you show compassion as a teacher, a student will open up to you easily. They'll respond well to you. They'll be more attentive in class, and
That's a,
it shows. We have the results.
yeah,
How I don't know how many alumni there are from Rice that are
yeah,
results of that, and elsewhere where they had faculty like that. So I always commend you, commend every teacher we have because without y'all, most of us probably wouldn't be where we are, and most of us wouldn't be doing what we do. You guys definitely help mold us, and it's appreciative. And any award that you get or that you've gotten or continue to get is well deserved.
appreciate that, man.
Oh, definitely.
Appreciate it. Biggest award is getting to see all y'all do your thing, see y'all as the successful men that we knew you were back then, That's the dopest feeling in the world, to be honest. And I'm sure what my pops felt as a parent of successful children, and as a dean of a bunch of students who grew up, he kept until his last days, he kept in contact with a bunch of people. And whenever he could, he would meet up, link up, and was always he would talk about y'all like he talked about his own kids for real. Like 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 y'all were his own seeds, and so proud of y'all. So
Yeah,
it's
I
dope,
remember
man. It's
the last
dope.
time I spoke with him, he actually wished me well right before my wedding,
That's
and
what's up.
unfortunately, he wasn't able to be there, and I was trying to make arrangements, and I wasn't able to. But it would have that's probably the saddest moment for me because I had Dr. Rob who performed the ceremony at my wedding, and to
Yeah.
have Mr. Ash there as well would have just been icing on the cake, and I probably would have been crying the whole day. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'm sure he was there in spirit. I'm sure.
So
Either way.
it's tough. It's tough. Definitely reliving a lot of the memories, and I know if it's tough for me, it's probably 10 times tougher for you. Obviously, him being your father and everything, but
It's tough, but I like to remind myself just how blessed I am for having that experience. You know what I'm saying? And I've had so many students, faculty, parents reach out and let me know the impact that my pops had on them. You know what I'm saying? And so I stay grounded in this feeling of just like I'm blessed to be able to have had even more time with him than y'all got to have. You know what I'm saying? Um, and a lot of my successes I attribute to lessons I learned from him and his guidance. And so I don't want to lose sight of that. Of course, any death is sad, but I'm blessed that I was raised by a strong, powerful, intelligent person, and I had the privilege of being able to work with him for a bunch of years and build a relationship on that end, not as father son, but as colleague. Um, so that's a privilege, and I'm blessed, and I stay feeling like that.
definitely. Um, I appreciate you taking the time out to speak with
Yeah,
me.
of course. Look at this thing. Let me show you real quick. One of your
Well,
classmates, what's his name? Chris Menel.
yeah,
He did a dope. He drew a picture of my pops, sent it. You probably can't see it that good on the screen, but I was like, so far he did this with pencil.
yeah.
Drew
That
a picture
I
of
think
him, sent it
he
over.
posted that on Instagram. I was
Oh,
looking.
that's what's up. But it's like that. That's the same theme since my pops passing. It's just been love, you know. And I appreciate it that like everybody is returning the same energy that he tried to give y'all. You know, he